What's up, Scorpio? It's Jesse with 44 Astro with an 8-8 Lionsgate reading. It's for 8-8 all 2023 all the way up through August. We'll probably do another full moon reading because there's a full moon in August. And this is a general tarot reading. It's for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. If you have a stellium in Scorpio, if your most aspected planet is in a Scorpio and somehow it's touching Pluto, or Pluto's in Scorpio and it's heavily aspected, those types of things, that's going to make for a very scorpionic individual. Scorpio has many different ways. Oop, I want to stop right there. Looks like a love reading. There's many different ways Scorpio can play a strong role in a chart. Scorpio, I mean, whether it's Sun, Moon, or Rising, it can be, you can have Pluto on your ascendant, a conjunct, and that would mean that you view, no matter what the ascendant is, you could be viewing the world through the eyes of Pluto, which means you're viewing the world like a Scorpio. And then that could be aspected to Scorpio in some way. There's all kinds of ways Scorpio can be powerful in your chart. It could be Pluto in mutual reception to the sign of Scorpio with another planet that it's in its house of ownership and it's having an aspect, and that would make it mutual reception. And then there could be a lot of aspects on that Pluto, or there could be a lot of planets, with Pluto in mutual reception. You could have a lot of aspects into the planet it's in mutual reception. That planet could have a bunch of aspects while it's in Scorpio with that mutual reception to Pluto, and that's still going to give strong Scorpio in your chart. Again, eventually I will start making astrology videos once I get monetized. It only takes 1,000 subscribers. I'm way off right now. I think I'm in the 60s, which I'm grateful for. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to get likes and subscribes in order to give me a reason to start really pouring into the channel. And I do have a lot of astrology knowledge. I promise you I do. I have a lot of occult knowledge. I have a lot of esoteric knowledge. I have a lot of psychological and religious knowledge. Dogmatic, I'll call it. I won't necessarily call it religion. Studying religions. But there was a time in my life where I had to climb out of a very deep hole because I had a very troubled past. And I used astrology as one of the ways to learn about myself, as well as tarot, as well as studying esoteric, because I wanted to learn about myself, and it helped me integrate, and then I was able to recover, become a better man. I mean, it's an ongoing process, right? I'm always trying to be better. So, and also, just to drop a little astrology knowledge, everyone knows that Scorpio can be represented by the eagle. In tarot, it's represented by the eagle. There's a reason for that, right? So the ecliptic is the line in which all of how we view all of the signs of the zodiac, right? They're on the specific line, right? On the horizon. It's called the ecliptic. That is, it has to be on that line to be part of the 12 sign zodiac. Sidereal astrology and Vedic astrology actually have everything assigned back, right? Because they're like, this is where it actually is now, because it does move. This is the bottom card, looking like clarity. But if you study astrology and you really look into like Vedic and to sidereal, you'll realize that the information that they're using was the information that's been developed for the Western system. So almost always, at least in my experience, the Western system is the accurate one. I know not every sign is 30 degrees. That's not true. Virgo is the largest constellation, as where Scorpio is the smallest. So it's really hard to actually be a Scorpio or be in that part of the ecliptic. So Scorpio only has a very small part in the ecliptic, right? And then the reason it's the three animals, and specifically it's generally the serpent, the scorpion, and the eagle. So there's actually an eagle constellation a little bit above Scorpio. It's a small eagle, but it's right there with it, right? And that's considered the higher vibration of Scorpio. In the middle, where the ecliptic is. That's where you're going to actually see the scorpion. That's kind of like the middle vibration of Scorpio. And then you have the serpent, which is the lower. Even though the serpent represents wisdom as well, right? Like everything is polarity. So the eagle and the serpent are unmistakably tied together. To be higher, you also have to understand the lower. It always goes like this, not with knowledge and understanding, not just one way. It's not possible because it's one whole. But anyway, so that's the three, and the serpent comes from Ophiuchus, which is it's associated with Asclepius, the healer. He's holding this serpent, right? He's like juggling this serpent in his. He's a little bit above the ecliptic too, and he's large. But and Hercules is stepping on the head of that serpent, right? And that represents rising above, and that's the levels of Scorpio, right? And in that part of the zodiac, and the Hercules stepping on the head of the serpent is actually partly in Sagittarius, and what we associate with Sagittarius. So that little spot in between Scorpio and Sagittarius is the spot in our zodiac when the sun is there, and we're seeing that part, because it's not that the sun is in it, right? It's the sun. We're seeing the sun shine on it. So it's technically the location would be in the other sign, but we're not going to get into all that. That's occult knowledge, and the system is developed the way that it is, to where that's what you're looking, it's what it's shining on, and it's what you're seeing. And that's when you're closest, when you're in that little spot between Scorpio and Sagittarius, that's when you're closest to the center and alignment of the Milky Way galaxy. And in sidereal, you'll actually see a little black spot there, right? And then that black spot, it's called Ophiuchus, right? It's this little bitty spot in the zodiac. I actually have my ascendant there. If you do the sidereal, I have Uranus there and Mercury. And it's very hard to get there. It's only a few degrees. And Scorpio itself is only a few degrees. And I have a bunch of stuff in Scorpio, too, with sidereal. But anyway, and in Manly P. Hall, in The Secret Teaching of All Ages, which is, Manly P. Hall was a 33rd degree Mason. Take that for what you want. He said that the most profound sign of the zodiac is Scorpio. And there's a reason for that. He said that because that's where you're going from the lesser mysteries to the greater mysteries. It's when you're initiating from the lower, even though it's 8 signs in, the lower mundane aspects of the zodiac to the higher. It's when you're transforming. That's why Scorpio has 3 different signs, and it's the only one that's 3 animals, and it has to do with levels because you're graduating. There's a lot of tests for Scorpios. There's a lot of transformation. That's why we're associated with transformation. That's why the death card is generally transformation, not necessarily death, even though it can be. But anyway, that's some Scorpio knowledge for you. That's why it's represented by the animals. It is astrological, why it's represented by 3 animals. The eagle is the highest representation of Scorpio. It's hard to get there, but it definitely can be done. Most of us kind of sit in that scorpion stage. And the serpent stage can be that's the very sexual aspect of Scorpio. And Scorpios are very sexual. We represent the base chakra. We also represent Malkuth in the tree of life, which is on the very bottom, right? But that's not because we're the most evil. We understand the lowest. That's why we can also understand the highest, and then we can move forward. But anyway, there's your esoteric knowledge for today, and your some astrology. I'll eventually will hopefully break all of that down better. I'll probably do a video on every single sign and their journey through the zodiac and what it represents and what it means, what part of the body it represents. Of course, Scorpio's the genitals. Go figure. Anyway, so Scorpio looks like a love reading. Boom. 2 of Cups, Page of Cups, 4 of Pentacles. It looks like somebody's offering you love, and it's like maybe you don't. Maybe you're. I mean, as Scorpions, we don't give ourselves up easily, right? This could be like you're holding back, or you're not necessarily willing to open up to them, not truthfully, because I mean, Scorpios were investigators. We need to know a lot before we're ever going to let you in, right? We can even hang out with you. I mean, we can maybe even a Scorpio can get physical with you, because that's one way a Scorpio can understand another individual is through sex. I mean, Scorpio is associated with that in the zodiac. The 8th house is sex, the occult, surgery. I mean, investigation. I mean, it's all these things. Transformation. I mean, inheritances. Scorpio power. I mean, that's all associated with Scorpio. So a Scorpio will literally, on occasion, I'm not saying it always, will have sex with an individual, and that's the way they get to know them, right? I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, like, they're like, I got to get to know you in every way possible, and then I can open up to you, and then I can trust you, because Scorpios don't really trust easily. It's just the way that it is. So it looks like somebody may be offering you love. Straight up. It's like, here's the offer of love. They're like, let's get together. And you're like, I don't know yet. Like, I don't know. Like, you're going to have to show me something else. You're going to have to, and we'll clarify on it. I mean, it could be good, but I mean, as investigators, we're not so easily swayed. It's not quite that easy, right? We may have just went out on a date with you, had a good time with you, but like, it's easy for Scorpios to find things not to like, because Scorpios are very hard on themselves, right? Like I said, we're in the initiation. We're trying to level up. That's what we're all about, transformation. So because of that, we're so hard on ourselves. Sagittarius is too, actually. Believe it or not, even though they're more free-going. Scorpios are so hard on themselves that they're really hard on others too. Because Scorpios like, I have to be better. I have to be better. I have to do better. I have to know better. And like, Scorpios will sting themselves, right? Which is dangerous in order to transform. Right? That death, kill yourself to transform into something new, burn it to the ground and rebuild it. So you can be really hard on other people. You know what I mean? And you might not be necessarily willing to give them a chance because you figure like, well, I was able to transform like this. Why haven't you been able to do it? I'm like that a lot. I have a lot of Sagittarius, which kind of softens that a bit. Like I try to, and my 21-year relationship with my wife has helped soften me up a lot. I learned a lot about compassion and love and reliability, and to be able to actually rely on somebody. Looks like a forward movement, like, and not being able to really, it's either a new perspective is not letting you make a decision, right? Or like it feels like somebody's offering you love and you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to make this decision. It's like I don't want to end up stuck with you because like I don't necessarily like everything I see, even though you're all right, maybe. Or it could be that you something about them gave you a new perspective, and maybe it's just like you were into it and like maybe you really did want to get with them, and then like something happened that gave you this perspective, like something specific, and you're like, now I don't know. Now I don't know. Now I really gotta investigate some more and figure out if you're what you're claiming to be, right? And that's all Scorpionic, from top to bottom. If you're heavy Scorpio, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is the other path. It looks like it's got a Scorpio in it, possibly. Could be Cancer, Pisces, right? Could just be being that type of energy, being calm in the turbulent waters. Looks like hard work to be that, but it looks like a happy outcome over here, right? It's looking like hard work, right? You've worked very hard to be this, to be calm. And Scorpios are generally very calm. I'm not a good representation of a Scorpio because I have so much Sagittarius, and because I have like Uranus touching Mercury and the Moon and my ascendant, and then it goes all the way into Scorpio. Like I have a big stellium. I have like six conjunctions all going between Scorpio and Sagittarius in that little area that I was talking about too. A lot of it goes through there. But with that being said, it looks like you're being very hard on yourself, or you have been very hard on yourself and very strict and rigorous, and you're like, and it just helped you be very calm in the turbulent waters. Scorpios do not panic. When it comes to like a really stressful situation or something like an emergency, you need someone to be calm and understand what's going on and be able to get the solution. You want a Scorpio there, make no mistake, because they're not going to flinch. They're going to be like, this is what needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. And you've worked hard, right? You've worked hard to be who you are, and you've worked hard for this, right? And you're not necessarily sure you're going to let anyone in without really being put through the gauntlet of tests. And Scorpios test people, no matter what you say. If you're heavy Scorpio, you test people. It's just what it is, because you also test yourself. As within, so without, as above, so below. It's just the way it works. You have to. It's very important for Scorpio to really investigate and know someone before they ever let them in, because Scorpio is like, it believes things are just inherently can be dangerous, and they're not wrong. Sometimes they can be. Okay, so this is the advice. You get the 3 of Pentacles, the 7 of Rods, and the Queen of Swords. So it looks like, whatever this is that you've worked on, right? That you've created and that you're showing the world. It could just be yourself. It could be something that you've actually worked on, and like, somebody's trying to get involved, to get a piece of it, or to try to infiltrate in some way. Rather they want to get with you, like on a business deal, like they're like trying to get in on it, or they're trying to offer you advice in some way, to try to maybe alter what the work that you're doing, or if it is an offer of love, like I said, they're trying to get with what you've worked on, and you're like, I don't know about that. This is like, it's saying be defensive. Like the advice is saying be defensive and be smart. So I think your instincts are right, and Scorpio's instincts generally are right. If someone's trying to come in, regardless of what relationship you've had with them thus far, if you're seeing red flags, or there's something that you found that's like, I don't know, regardless of what they're trying to present to you, Scorpios can see through that most of the time. And maybe they put on a good show at first, and you're like, oh, this seems good, but then you saw what you needed to see. And you're like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't what he or she said it was, right? And if that's the case, be brutally honest. Scorpios do not have a problem being brutally honest. They will say exactly what they mean, exactly what they think. Most of the time they'll be quiet, but if they need to say something, make no mistake, it will be said, regardless of if it hurts your feelings or not. Sagittarius is like that too, except Sagittarius says a lot all the time, regardless if it hurts your feelings. Those two signs are close in some ways. But it's saying be prepared, be defensive. Keep your guard up. So keeping your guard up is not a bad thing in this situation. And the outcome, it could be that you choose to get with this person, or it could be that you feel like the relationship is something like this. If you are in a current relationship, right, and you're thinking about getting out of it, it's saying that's probably a good idea. because you could end up chained to it. And it could be vices. It could be something like, an addiction to sex, addiction to alcohol, that kind of thing, or just feeling chained to an individual or relationship or a situation, right? And it's saying that you're making a final judgment on it, right? You're making a final judgment to follow your passions. So if it is something to do with like a work situation, there's some work cards here for sure. You're going to follow your passions. You're going to stop, you're going to take a new perspective. You're going to make a final judgment on it because maybe you feel slave to the work, or maybe you could feel slave to a work. It could be like a new opportunity in work that's being offered to you, right? And you're like, you know what? Enough's enough. Or I don't feel like I really need to do that. And it definitely could be work with this card here, even though the Lovers is there. It could be in love, but it also could be in work. And it's like, look, I think I'm just going to kind of buckle down and go do my own thing. And I'm going to stick with my own ideas. I'm not going to let anyone else kind of infiltrate on what I'm trying to create. And if it is with a relationship, you're going to be like, no thanks. I'm moving on to something else. Something that more fits who I've become. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that is the journey of Scorpio, right? We're always burning it to the ground and rebuilding it to try to improve. And that's really what it's about. Scorpio can get a bad rap from people because, like, Scorpios do that. They will burn things to the ground. The moment they don't feel like it's worth it anymore, Scorpio will burn it to the ground in order to learn the lessons and to grow. Some people can't handle that. Some people can't handle that kind of constant transformation. There we go. Scorpio, it's all about it. So it's, Scorpios can be difficult to fathom. Like I said, it's a very profound spot in the zodiac. It's very intense. And that word is, legit. I want to kind of see if this is 3 major arcanas. The universe or the world, justice, and the Hierophant. I mean, I hate to say it, but it could be like a marriage coming to an end. Because with it's adjustment, right? It's justice, but in this deck it's adjustment. And then instead of the world, it's called the universe. And then the Hierophant. So, the Hierophant and justice can be marriage cards, right? It could be somebody offering you marriage. Woo. It could be somebody trying to, like, marry you. It screams somebody's offering you marriage, right? Like, let's bring this to a completion. Let's intertwine our worlds. Let's make this serious. Because with adjustment or justice there and the Hierophant, that's like, it's like a wedding. And I don't think you're necessarily into it. If you are into it, or you want to get married, get married. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that if you are that individual that's being offered marriage or being offered a serious relationship, or maybe like a big opportunity in a job that's like tying you down for like a project that's going to tie you down for years, maybe you don't really feel like you want to do that. But that's what it's saying, in the clarification of what this is, what this offer is. It definitely could be an offer of marriage. Somebody might be proposing to you. Or vice versa. You may be proposing to someone else but having second thoughts. Maybe you notice something. Because it's, the outcome, it's saying this is what your outcome will be if you chain yourself to this situation. And you need to make a final judgment about it. I think that maybe it doesn't necessarily mean that it will be that, but it feels like that's what you're feeling about it. And that's the judgment you're trying to make. Because you don't necessarily feel passionate about it. See what the choice is with the Hangman up here and the 2 of Swords. I'm kind of curious. I mean, it's like you've worked very hard on yourself and like creating an environment at home. I mean, it could be somebody that maybe you're married to someone else and they're coming in, but like, yo, leave them, come with me. And you're like, I don't know about that. It's like you've worked very hard on like creating the life that you wanted or the home that you wanted or creating yourself in a specific way, and you're like, I'm gonna. You want to keep it there, keep it how it is. Or you're not really ready to have that kind of upheaval in your life with whatever this offer is. So like the choice that you can't see, or like what it is that, either you can't see or you feel stuck with. It's like you got 7 of Cups, which is called debauchery. It's debauchery or debauch. It's like it's really about having a lot of stagnant and like bad thoughts about a situation. And then the 5 of Pentacles in this, I wouldn't say it's necessarily worried about money. It could be. But it's just called worry, right? It's just worry. And Dominion is, in this deck, the 2 of Rods. The Lord of Dominion means like being able to have dominion over creating what you want. And it feels like that's the worry here, is you feel like you're not going to be able to create exactly what you want in the way that you want it. If either you stay in this situation or you accept whatever this offer is, or you accept whatever this person's proposal is with marriage or whatever. You feel like maybe in some way it's going to infringe upon your freedom. And if you feel that way, I mean, you may be thinking, and you're probably weighing it out. It's like on this side, it feels like, it could be real stable and good for me. And I like this person to an extent, but I might lose this specific type of autonomy or this specific type of a life that I want. And you're just like, you know what? I don't know if that's for me. And I say trust your intuition, trust your instincts, right? Over here, it says you worked very hard on this path, and you've worked hard on who you've become, and you're ready for like what you want in life. Don't give up on what you want. Like just because you're really fond from someone, and Scorpios are very loyal to a fault sometimes. Once you do get through that armor, and a Scorpio really loves you and trusts you, like they'll sacrifice themselves literally for you. They'll sting themselves to death before they sting you, and that's a little insane. But that's Scorpio. That's the type of loyalty that you get if you can get to that point with a Scorpio, and that may be what you're weighing. Like, look, I'm just not willing to, I don't want to hurt this person, or I don't want to like turn him down because I really do care about him and love him. But like I feel like it's going to infringe upon my life in a specific way, and I'm going to lose my authenticity in a certain way. And if that's the case, you really at some point are going to have to choose yourself. Otherwise, you will end up stinging yourself to death. That's that type of thing, right? I'm curious what this devil is. With a tower on the devil. Ooh, did you get pregnant? Did you get pregnant? Did you find out that you were pregnant? Because that's like it could be that if you do enter into this, you may end up with suddenly pregnant. Because the tower with this Empress, right? This Empress is pregnant, okay? And then you got the Queen of Cups, which could definitely be you, male or female. But female if it's pregnancy. I mean, if you're a male, maybe not so much pregnancy. Maybe you end up getting the individual pregnant. Or it could be a sudden opportunity, a new opportunity, because it could be sudden opportunity that's like that you need, that you'll miss out on if you enter into whatever this other thing is. And that's what that devil is doing, right? If you either stay in the situation that you're having second thoughts about, if you accept this offer that you're having second thoughts about, or if you get into this project that you're having second thoughts about, you're gonna be chained, and this sudden opportunity you won't be able to take it. Okay. It also could be that you suddenly find out that you're pregnant, or you got someone pregnant. I'm not saying that's legitimately what it is, but I'm saying the cards can represent that in a way. With the Tower and the Empress and the Queen of Cups, it can definitely be that. But it could also just be a brand new opportunity in some way. Yeah. Look out for yourself, right? Look out for yourself. If you're having any second thoughts, or intuitively you're feeling like it isn't the way, don't do it. Don't do it. But it's your choice. So it looks like you've worked hard on creating, who you are and what you have, and like your own situation. Well, that card wants to stay. Well, it's saying bring love to the situation for sure. So whatever the situation is, New Moon in Aquarius, go about it lovingly, right? Be compassionate and loving in the situation. But like I said, if you're having second thoughts about it, or you're not really into whatever's being offered to you, whether it's an opportunity or offer of marriage, just an offer of love in general, or if it's like some kind of new opportunity, if you think it's going to infringe on your freedom and your autonomy, don't do it, right? Love yourself. When I'm saying bring love in a situation like this, you need to love yourself, right? Even if you have extreme loyalty to a company or to a person, and Scorpios are like that. They get super freaking loyal, man, and they'll sacrifice themselves in order to help that other person, and that's insane, right? It's true though. Pisces is like that too. They'll do it from the get-go. They'll just give themselves up. And then Cancer's like that too. Once you get in with a Cancer, they're gonna give you all. It's deep emotions and love, and those can influence you heavily, right? But bring love to the situation. Bring love for yourself. Have some love for yourself. I think you need to do that. I think you need to think about this situation, right? I think this person probably really does care about you, and you really care about them, or you really care about this business or project. But if you are having any second thoughts, actually think about yourself in the situation. You don't always have to, just because you're very loyal and gave a lot of time and effort to something or someone, or something that you've worked on, a project even, you don't have to give, you can change, you can transform. That's what Scorpio is all about. It's transforming. Become the eagle. You can do it. Maybe you're already the eagle. Someone's trying to drag you back down, and you feel like, well, I have this high view of things now, but this offer may drag me back down. Maybe. All right, Scorpio, that's all I have. Thank you for being here. Please consider liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. I'm trying to build a channel. Once I get to that 1,000 mark, I'm going to start uploading the astrology knowledge. I'll start breaking down all kinds of things. I'll even break down harmonics. I'll break down midpoints. I'll break down every single sign. I'll break down every decan. I'll break down the mansions of the moon. I'll break down Chiron. I'll break it all down. I've read so much over the years. It's insane. I know I look really young, but I'm almost 40. But with that being said, Scorpio, if you don't want to like and subscribe and comment, I'm grateful that you're here anyway and that you watched the video. And I hope this resonated in some way. If not, watch your other signs. Either way, happy 8/8, and I hope you have a wonderful August. Thank you.